share mine with you. Please share yours with me. I want.
Hey, we're here with a special guest, I have to say. It's JaMeS, but say your last name so I don't mess it up.
You can say it in many different ways.
Yeah.
Depending if I want to feel Irish, I say MaheR.
Oh.
But it's my grandparents Americanized it, and now it's MaheR. But
so it's MaheR, but it's a little different.
it depends how I want to feel. And
How do you when you're like called on in a room? How do you say it?
I say MaheR.
You do.
But everyone says MaheR. So sometimes
because MaheR is kind of like
that's what it's supposed to be.
It is.
You mean like as in John Mayer?
But it's not. He's JaMeS, and it's MaH. So it's MaheR. I like as a kid, you probably want it like MaheR because it's different, right?
Yeah, I mean everyone said it in many different ways, so I just kind of went with it.
That's kind of why I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And what brings you out in the world? I know you wrote a great story in the EV GRIEVE, so I thank you for that, about ReW WhO and the show and stuff like that. When did you start writing for them? And
I started I've been sending images in. I just kind of walk around and take a lot of photographs around the city, and so I was sending images for years, for about 3 or 4 years. And then one day I just sent an email to the mysterious EV GRIEVE. Everyone asks if I know who it is. I have no idea.
You really don't?
No, really, people don't believe me.
Wow, I thought it was you.
No, everyone, they always say like, say hi to EV GRIEVE. And I'm like,
okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So
wow, so it is like a mystery.
It's definitely a mystery, yeah.
That's so cool.
It's very interesting.
I love that.
A really great person. We email a lot, but...
Have you ever tried to track it down?
I'm closing in, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I sent an email about maybe 2 years ago saying, I see all these interesting people. I know there's such a rich history in the East Village.
Right.
What if I stop people on the street and just tried to give quick 15-minute interviews? And so said, great, let's do it. And then we've been doing it for 2 years. And in the winter, because you can't get people to stop on the street in the cold, you're like, can I have 5 minutes of your time?
Right.
They're like, screw off.
Especially this winter.
Oh, it's hard.
This winter is really hard.
So then we find interesting people and set up the interviews ahead of time.
Yeah, you've done a lot of really cool ones.
It's been a very interesting
2 years.
Yeah.
So like when you go to restaurants, like I know you did John's, do they feed you and stuff?
They don't feed me, but I think I can probably go back to John's and impress my wife a little bit.
Yeah, we go there periodically, but like enough that they know who we are in that place. And we went after that came out, and I told them we read it. They gave us free dessert. They were like so happy about it. So I had to thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah.
I haven't been there since that interview.
They were so excited that we read it, and I had so much information on them. Because you get like nitty-gritty, you get like in a short little piece, you really get bullets of pretty targeted stuff.
Something about my face, I think, makes people want to open up to me.
Yeah, well, you have a sweet face. So you are a New York City boy.
Yeah, I grew up here.
Did you ever live anywhere else?
5 years in Madison, Wisconsin for college, but that was...
what was that like?
Cold.
Yeah, horrible. I mean, Madison's an amazing place, really friendly people, really fun school, but you get really depressed for 3 months of the year.
It's like dark.
It was,
huge amounts of snow.
And ice that doesn't go away. Yeah. That's how I got into photography. I was a math major in college, and and I got so depressed for a couple of years there, just in the winters, that I, had a quarter-life crisis.
They have that big ski lodge up there, Alpine Valley, in Wisconsin.
I'm not a big skier, so I don't. Yeah.
And the Green Bay Packers, right?
Green Bay Packers. I went to a Green Bay Packer game.
What was that like?
That was. This was the week after we had gotten there. None of us drove. I went with 2 of my friends, and we had an extra ticket. And so the night before, we walked around the parties and found someone. We were like, "Hey, you Green Bay Packer fan?
You have a car?"
Do you have a car? And he said, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
So hung over at 7 in the morning. We're waiting there, hoping he shows up.
Funny. And he did.
He did. He showed up. We slept. We all slept the whole ride. I felt really bad, but.
Did anyone have a cheese head?
I got a cheese. I'm a Jets fan. It was the Packers versus Jets.
Wow.
And I got a cheese hat, so I was kind of confusing people.
Wow. Well, that's okay. You were half living there, so it was okay.
Definitely, yeah.
So now, what do? You have a lot of projects going on.
Yeah, I am a fine artist. I sell art to people and companies. I do a lot of portraiture, different types of commercial work, you know, a lot of things to pay the bills.
Now, is it photography or fine art? You say, is that painted?
No, fine art photography.
Okay.
So when I say that, I mean I sell prints.
Okay.
And then I'm a writer. I wrote a book.
What's it called?
The Essentials of Street Photography.
Ah, and what are the essentials? Is it like, how is it chaptered or?
It's a lot about different techniques to, what you should be photographing when you're out there. It's talking about photographing your culture, where you're from, capturing kind of real and candid moments and how to do that. And developing a voice.
So there's a real art to telling a storyline with pictures.
Yeah, sometimes you just stumble onto things.
Yeah, you really do. You always have to have your camera around. It's the things that you don't think would be photogenic end up being the most photogenic.
Right.
Yeah, I always find that the best things, the camera's not with you.
Yeah.
I know it happens with me all the time with performing. The best shows never get recorded. It's always like that. Why is that?
I think maybe you're paying attention more when you're
not being
when you're just
Well, the best stuff in the world is always spontaneous.
Yeah, and it just always gets missed almost.
It does, definitely.
That's why I think a lot of artists like Madonna did that Truth or Dare so she could have the camera rolling 24/7 so nothing gets missed.
Completely, yeah.
Yeah, and then they just edit. So like, I mean, you find that like people that have the cha-cha-ching can do that, but it is costly to be a photographer, isn't it? Not like it was because of digital. Has that saved or is it?
It's made it easier to get better as a photographer because you can really experiment without having to pay much money. You can take a lot of shots early on, but it's expensive.
It
you
is.
need computers, you need hard drives, you need backup systems, programs.
Yeah.
It's, every day. Really something breaks or something. And
technology, exactly.
It's hard, yeah.
It is. I mean, the world keeps getting better and worse because of that, right?
Yeah.
So do you ever do simple things? Like when you were a little kid, did you use one of those Instamatic throwaway cameras ever? Like, were you into photography when you were little?
Not really. I was big into basketball and kind of not a great student in high school, and I kind of fell into it after college, or in college.
That's what you said,
yeah,
right?
So I was not.
So what were you photographing in Wisconsin?
Wisconsin, I wasn't photographing too much. I would come back for the summers and assist for commercial photographers.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I kind of came back and did a photography program at the International Center for Photography. And then, when you're in the city with a camera, the first thing you do is go outside on the street and photograph. And so that's kind of what I've taken. I do all types of commercial work and things, but that's what I've taken with me the whole time.
And people watching.
I love people watching.
People watching.
Oh my gosh,
absolutely.
yeah.
It's easy to do
That
here.
is my passion, not photography, people watching.
Right.
But especially in Central Park, like on a really nice day, millions of people all over the place.
Yeah, definitely.
I think anywhere in this town now.
This area is, I mean...
So what are you working on now?
So now, I mean, I'm doing a lot of different work. I'm writing a new book.
Does it have a title?
It's a marketing book. It's about the whole digital marketing, which is really an
like marketing for anybody or
for creatives.
Okay.
So
do you have any like tidbits of help?
Tidbits are, I mean, the most important tidbit is to make a lot of friends.
On all those fan pages, you mean, or
just
in
real life? Real life. I mean,
I can't tell the difference anymore.
Yeah.
Like so many people like say, "Oh, I'm your friend on Facebook," and it's like, of course you are, and it's great, and I'm grateful that you are. But like, do you know all your friends?
Oh, no, not on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. Like real friends.
Real friends. Yeah. I mean, I know not. Not really. Yeah.
Real friends usually have their phone number.
Not anymore. Now it's email, like, your phone number, it's like, it's texting anyway.
I like picking up the phone, and a lot of people don't do it anymore.
To call.
Yeah.
I know.
I call people, they text me back.
Calling is like a dying art, or a dying thing, whatever.
It's like reading books.
But I do feel that when you talk, the tone is there, and when you're doing all the other stuff, you lose tone, and you can really get into distorted conversations with people with texting because the tone isn't there, and then you might be sarcastic by joking, and then someone takes it seriously, and then they get all upset, and it's everything's changing.
Yeah,
That's true.
You can have a stone
there's no way of detecting any humor.
No, you can't. You can't. I mean, I feel like if you don't put like a smiley face or an exclamation point, people think you're angry.
Exactly.
Yes,
I know.
You have to put LOL on everything now.
I know, and some of the key
too.
And the typos just don't stop because like my A on my phone doesn't type very well. So like my A and my P.
Your AP, your Associated Press.
Oh, my A and P don't work very well. That used to be the so phone calls. You think that it's a dead era of talking, or you think it's gonna ever? We're only moving forward, not back, right?
I think it's gone. I mean, maybe there'll be some live chat thing where you'll just pop up and actually speak to the person.
Even
again.
my mother has started Facebook IMing me. It's like, I know, it's like, wow, she prefer texting now. She didn't want to, but now it's like, don't call.
Well, you know, the weirdest thing is, you know, you see these people walking around with these little headsets, and you see them walking down the street.
Talkers?
Yeah, and it looks like they're psychotic and they're talking to themselves, you know. And right.
Yeah, you can do
you
that.
start talking back, and then they look at you like you're crazy.
Exactly.
Right.
All right, so the marketing. So what is like one of the things that is a helpful? Make a lot of friends.
I mean, part of it is that a lot of it is on the digital side.
Okay.
You know, there's things like getting ranked high in Google. I mean, there are a million tips for everything. But part of it is talking a lot about that, but then also talking about you can, you know, email 5 art consultants or art buyers and do more than you could do in 5 years just trying to market on Facebook, or you know, it's. I don't want people to forget that.
Well, because it's instant access.
It's just you find the right people and you just call them on the phone. You ask to meet them in person, so that's part of it. And then there's, I mean, a million things for the internet.
Yeah, so it's always a numbers game, though, don't you think? Like even if you call 5 people and they all say no, it's like if you call 20 people, 1 might just say yes, right?
It's true, but if you email 20 people, most of them are going to say no. If you call 20 people, a lot more of them will call you back.
Ah, so, that's good to know. Okay, so then calling is still like
I mean, everyone emails, everyone just kind of blasts out things.
And they don't read them.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, it is National Pistachio Day, and we would love to share a pistachio cookie with you for a skeleton from your closet.
Okay, I guess I was going to say something else, but then I guess the way I really got into photography was I started making fake IDs for all my friends. So I downloaded a copy of Photoshop and
I want a fake ID.
I can do it. Well, a good one, I think. Still, yeah, they were.
Wow.
We got, you know, I had some engineer roommates and we made some good ones.
Wow, that's a really good profession, actually. You must have did pretty well.
Well, not so well. No, it was, you know, I made them for friends. We had a good time.
Did that include driver's licenses?
They were like.
Now it's all scannable and all that. Now it's gotten really high tech.
This was back when, I mean, you could get it anywhere in the city.
I had the worst fake ID.
Oh my God, yeah.
The worst one ever. I couldn't, it was so bad that it worked everywhere.
Yeah.
It was like, I couldn't believe it. It was so bad.
Things have changed a lot.
I know, now that fake ID would never work. It was just terrible.
Well, they have all these chips built into it, you know, and they scan everything.
They bend in the,
the holograms.
Yeah. They didn't have that back in the day, but you look kind of young. So what's your website? How do people find you for photography?
It's JamesMaher.com. If you Google James MaheR, M-A-H-E-R, I'll be the first one to pop up.
Cool, so that's what you're talking about, that Google...
Yes, if you Google New York photography, I'll be in the top 5.
Good for you.
Yeah,
good for you. Wow, did you work hard on that?
It was. I've worked for maybe 7 to 10 years to learn how to do it. And
So there are specific ways to make it happen.
I mean, there are a million. It's tough to really say one thing.
Yeah.
Did you ever do any videography or videotapes?
Not really. No.
Really?
It's something I'd be interested in, but mostly still.
Yeah, there's so many people doing that. You know, it's all over the map.
But yeah, it's a whole different skill set. Yeah.
Right.
It is.
And it's much more technical as far as the editing.
Yeah, it's a whole new set of programs.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, it's a whole new world with this digital age, right? So would you like to push a button?
I would love to. Let's do the scary face right here.
All right.
There you go. Any last shout-outs?
Nope. I don't have any.
You're good?
I'm good, yeah.
That's good. Well, thank you so much, and come back anytime because we like the EV GRIEVE. So maybe we can find out who the EV GRIEVE
Oh
is.
yeah, next time I'll give you an exclusive.
And you can bring
I'll
them.
figure out who it is and I will.
Or her.
Yeah, it's true.
Whoever it might be.
I heard a funny one, someone thought it's 3 women.
Oh, that would be so cool.
That would be interesting, yeah.
That would be really cool. Like Annie and her sisters, or Hannah and her sisters, or whoever it is, right? Or her brothers, or whoever, right? Well, thanks a ton.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
A lot. We'll be back.
I'm a repeat offender to myself.